Scared for Reals 1987.
Hey, it's Chris O'Neill.
And Adam Perry.
All right, Adam, series within a series, 1987. I know the movies I loved back in 1987. Brian De Palma's The Untouchables, The Last Emperor, but we had you choose the 1987 movie. So what's next?
So today we're going to talk about 1980 John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, starring Donald Pleasance.
Oh, yes. The second of the Apocalypse trilogy, which started with The Thing and then Into the Mouth of Madness. Yep. So why did you choose this movie, Adam? You must have watched it at some point.
Yeah, I watched it, and I don't know. This is just a cool movie. It's different. It's we got a mysterious swirling green liquid and gates to hell, and Alice Cooper.
Yeah, well,
the one and only Alice Cooper.
Let's take it a step further. At this point in John Carpenter's career, he had been kind of tied to the studios.
Yep,
and he's had one bomb after another, and he got away from the studio system with this one and kind of had creative control.
Yep,
and he did. I mean, this movie did make a little bit of money, but it's funny when people talk about John Carpenter's movies, this one is not typically top of mind.
No, it's definitely more in the cult era,
right.
The cult genre.
Now we can talk about The Thing being unsuccessful because of the time of year it was released. I'm going to stick with that. If that movie was released in October, it would have done a whole lot better. But yeah, this movie doesn't get talked about. The Thing is like considered by some to be his best film, but no one ever talks about Prince of Darkness. So yeah, you first watched it, you probably were a teenager, I'd imagine.
Yeah. And it did make some money. I mean, a $3 million budget, it made $14.2 million.
Right, but still, people don't talk about it though. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah, it's kind of just one of those movies that's kind of just got lost in time.
And he was frustrated. I remember seeing an interview how he was just frustrated with the way horror movies were. They were so cliche. He wanted to do something different, and like you said, it's different.
Yeah.
And I don't think people have done it quite like that since. It's like its own movie that, you don't really hear the word Satan mentioned or hell too much.
Right.
It's kind of a given. It's hell.
Right.
And Satan, but they don't really come out and say it, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But it's got that apocalyptic vibe, 2,000 years. I'll let you talk about it.
I mean, yeah, it does. I mean, it starts off and, and the first thing you see is like these zombie-like creatures just kind of wandering around this church, and the first one you see you encounter is Alice Cooper.
Yeah,
so, it's just it's just such a weird movie, and I think
it really is.
That's why I'm drawn to it, because our characters, they get caught in this church, which we find out is belongs to the Brotherhood of Sleep. And
and from I guess what happened was at the time he was really into quantum physics.
Yeah,
he was really doing a lot of research on that, and some of that lingo, like the brilliant Victor Wong shows up again.
Yes,
right after Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah,
he was always fun to watch. I mean, he did The Last Emperor the same year. He did both of those movies that came out in 1987.
Right.
And he'd go on to do the Three Ninja movies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every kid remembers.
Oh, yeah.
90s kid remembers Three Ninjas.
And I guess he had some sort of facial disease, and he could only eat certain foods because that's why his face was affected the way it was. Like I don't know if you've noticed.
Is it like a Bell's palsy type?
I can't remember the name. It's some sort of Latin word. I can't remember the name of it, but he had to eat his own food. Yeah. Like they'd have food on the set, but he couldn't eat that.
Interesting.
But yeah, Victor Wong, I mean, very memorable face. He had a cool voice. He had a lot of fun. And I know obviously Carpenter really liked him. And that's the thing. Carpenter liked to work with the people he got along with really well. I mean, he did multiple movies with a lot of these actors and these creative people,
Right.
But anyway, you this is your movie. I'll let you do most of the talking.
I mean, it's a 37-year-old movie, man. I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's hard to describe it. Again, we got a group of scientists, a group of academics with you got Donald Pleasant there as the priest, and they come across this liquid. It's supposed to be the embodiment of Satan.
Yeah.
The team also learned Jesus Christ was an extraterrestrial.
Controversial thinking there.
Was executed for heresy and trying to warn the people of the earth that the vessel Satan was trapped. I mean, like this movie is just like all over the place.
Well, and it's like it's like the it's not so much scary as it's like dread from the start. It's like bugs crawling all over people, and I guess he got those bugs from somewhere, but he was allowed to have real bugs, and
right.
It's just really interesting, and it's such a slow burn too.
Yeah,
and the Thing, there's like pretty much nonstop from start to finish.
Right.
Whereas, Big Trouble in Little China, it was just nonstop action. This movie is got like a slow build. It kind of stays for a while in a scene.
Yeah.
So, and it's not 100% successful in my opinion, but it's still cool to watch Carpenter try something new.
Right.
Because he hadn't done anything like this before, and he hasn't done it since.
Right.
So anyway, continue. I kind of interrupted your train of thought.
So it's like you say. So you got this green liquid, and people here, they start one by one getting infected and like just possessed by Satan, and they start attacking each other and trying to kill each other. And then if you try to escape, you're attacked by this mob led by Alice Cooper outside. And then we find a portal, to the realm of antimatter, where the survivors are trying to cross over there just to escape. It's just
you got antimatter, anti-God stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm like, what a weird movie, but it's like you can't. It's one of those movies you can't stop watching when you start.
Yeah,
it's like you gotta just like play it out.
Right, and it's the atmosphere. I mean, the music kind of sounds similar to Big Trouble in Little China, I think.
Yeah,
but it's got a cool atmosphere vibe to it.
Yeah,
and again, it's not 100% successful. And John Carpenter fans think this is one of his weaker movies. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know if it's weaker, but it's different. That's the thing.
Yeah,
he wanted to do something different, and once you watch the interviews and listen to the commentary, you kind of get an idea where he was coming from here. So
yeah,
go ahead. I keep interrupting you.
So yeah, I mean, so basically, the goo, disfigures the people, and great, creepy, gory special effects. I mean, yeah, you're looking at a picture of Susan right now. I mean, look at that. Holy crap. That's what the green goo does to you.
Right.
And it turns you into, a sociopath, and you try to kill everybody.
Well, that's the thing. It kind of spits on you. That's the thing. And then the host has to spit on someone else to keep it going. It's kind of a weird, different approach, woman just seeing stuff drip on her, and then she becomes a host for whatever this demonic thing is.
Yeah.
But it's very... I mean, you can always count on a Carpenter film to have good makeup work. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. So basically, by the end of the movie, just all hell breaks loose.
Literally.
Those who've been infected by the green goo start to viciously attack and try to break through the walls of the barricade that the survivors are put up in. Lomax, he's yeah, man, it's just, how do you describe this movie? Like,
it's a film about dread. It's a film about the apocalypse, and there's a lot of religious stuff thrown in there. There's all sorts of philosophy stuff thrown around about quantum physics. It is tough to, because again, it's not 100% executed the best, because it does kind of drag in certain spots, unfortunately.
Right.
I mean, overall, it's still a lot of fun to watch, and I've seen it a couple of times. You know, it's not one I revisit all the time, but it's fun to pop in every so often. And
right.
But there's a lot of philosophical, theological things that go on in this movie. It's just, quoting from different scripture, which is not real scripture, but it's.
Yeah, when you first saw it, what was your immediate impression like?
Well, it was different. It wasn't like any other John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
I didn't like it my favorite John Carpenter movie is Big Trouble in Little China. That is my absolute favorite John Carpenter movie. To me, it was perfect from start to finish. And he leaves all of his movies open for sequels, which it's the ending when Lisa Blount is the only one that can do anything. Mm-hmm. Which is it's always interesting. We women are often critiqued in horror movies, but if you look at any horror movie, whether it's John Carpenter or any of the slasher classics, it's always the woman that's the stronger one and always survives. You've seen this over and over again. So the woman is, Donald Pleasance is having a difficult time trying to fight off one of the demon hosts, and it's like Lisa Blount is the only one that can actually do anything. Mm-hmm. She takes it upon herself to do something that the men cannot do. Yeah. So she jumps in there, but unfortunately Donald Pleasance smashes the mirror, and and Lisa Blount's stuck in whatever dimension it is. Yep. Again, they don't say hell, but it has to be a form of hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they refer to it as the other realm.
Yeah, the other realm, which is again hell probably, but it's like a water kind of thing, because you see Lisa Blount drowning in it.
Yeah. She's after Donald Pleasance shatters the mirror, she's seen briefly on the other side, and then all the possessed start to die. Right. And so the basically problem solved for now. For now.
But it seems like it's something that crops up every 2,000 years. Right. That's what the movie alludes to. Again, it's not like a perfect movie, but it's there's a lot of stuff to dissect in this movie. And we're not going to get into the whole biblical and stuff, because it really doesn't rely on biblical stuff other than naming Jesus and Satan's mentioned a couple of times, but it is a fascinating movie, that's for sure, and people still talk about it to this day. And they say it's the weakest. I haven't seen In the Mouth of Madness. Did you ever watch that?
I haven't seen the sequel, no, or the quote unquote sequel to it.
Well, some fans say it's more creative. I mean, Sam Neill's in it, and Sam Neill was kind of riding high off of, he had Jurassic Park and The Piano in the same year.
Yeah.
Wow. That was an interesting range. Right. But it's very interesting. I mean, just the set piece for the basement was really cool.
Yes, it was.
I mean, we don't talk about how cool his set pieces are in his movies.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah, Carpenter, he definitely knows how to create an atmosphere.
Right.
He knows how to, bring you into a world.
That's for sure.
Assault on Precinct 13 is just like...
I haven't seen that yet either. No. I know people have dismissed it. It was dismissed at the time for being a Rio Bravo ripoff, but it's I want to see that. I can't say anything about it because I haven't seen it. And
yeah, but I mean, just like Carpenter does with all of his movies, he sucks you right into that prison and the whole world. And just like here in Prince of Darkness, you feel like you're in that church with them. You feel you feel the intensity of what's going on.
And it's too bad it was the final time you'd work with Donald Pleasance too, because they seemed like they had a cool thing going on.
Oh sure, I mean. Well, how many times did they actually work together?
3 times. They did Halloween, Then there was Escape from New York, and then
what's Donald Pleasance? I can't remember if he was he in the Escape from New York?
Yeah, he was the president.
Was he?
Yeah.
I had spent so long since I've seen Escape from New York.
He's kind of fun to watch as the president, but
I can imagine a British U.S. president.
But as we've talked about, the British can do American
accent,
flawlessly.
Right. But I totally forgot that he was in Escape from. Donald Pleasance. I mean, he's just an icon. He's a legend.
For sure.
And he definitely ups the game when you see him in a cast. Mm-hmm. He's just that good. He makes the rest of the story better. He makes the rest of he elevates it. He's just one of those actors who could elevate an entire movie.
And I don't know much about H.P. Lovecraft, but it seemed like they talk about this work being influenced, drawing heavily from the works of H.P. Lovecraft.
I can see that. H.P. Lovecraft. I mean, I've read it.
I see. I've never really. I know who H.P. Lovecraft was.
Yeah.
But the artwork I'm not as familiar with.
Well, I've read a handful of H.P. Lovecraft stories, and it's very. It's always got some weird monster, some weird twist, interdimensional, just very almost sci-fi type horror, but it's like. It takes place usually, from what I understand about H.P. Lovecraft, all of the stuff happens in one place. One location, yeah.
Just like this movie, one place. I mean, even The Thing, one place.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of a good chunk of his. I mean, look at Halloween, one neighborhood, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
One town.
Mm-hmm.
So, I haven't really read any H.P. Lovecraft, or I'm not familiar with his work, but I guess he was supposed to record a song. I guess that was the thing. Like, I know they were fans of each other.
Yeah.
And at one point, I think Carpenter wanted Alice Cooper to do a song for the movie.
Yeah.
But somehow he got sucked into being that one character who doesn't speak any lines. And actually, Alice Cooper said in an interview, I'm glad I didn't have to say any lines, because it would have probably ruined the character. But I guess he had a prop on stage where he impaled somebody or something.
Alice?
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a couple props on stage where he impales himself or impales somebody else.
Because that whole bike thing was his own prop, I guess.
Yeah.
So he got to use one of his stage props in the movie.
Yeah. I've seen Alice Cooper 4 times. Three of them front row.
Wow.
The guy still in his mid 70s is just absolutely amazing. I'm a huge fan of Alice Cooper, and it's fun because you see him pop up occasionally in these horror movies, and he really has a love and respect for these movies that you can tell, and he's appreciated in the genre, which is why he gets put in a movie like this with John Carpenter, and he likes it because I've heard him say in multiple interviews that it's fun for him to do these movies because he doesn't have to be Alice Cooper.
Right. Well, and
he gets to be someone else.
And he is a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ too, and he points out if you follow Christ, you have to know there's Satan.
Yeah.
And if you know Satan, then you can better combat him. And that
right.
and that's an interesting way to look at it, because people I have thought that death, macabre, and Alice Cooper's into Satan, but he's actually
he teaches Sunday school every day.
Right.
Yeah,
he's
Sunday.
an ordained minister, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but again, that just also goes to where I credit Alice Cooper is he understands that there's real and then there's entertainment.
Right.
And he likes the entertainment. He likes the you watch his stage show, it's a love fest to just horror and Halloween.
But that's one thing he really liked about Prince of Darkness, though, was the fact this is a movie that acknowledges Satan, and you have to acknowledge Satan if you are a follower of Christ. You have to be aware and how to combat and how to stand up against Satan and everything like that.
Right.
It's a good versus evil movie for sure.
Yeah.
Again, it's presented differently because again, Carpenter, he's so, I don't know if you've seen clips of him, like they ask, hey, how do you feel about your contemporary filmmakers? He basically saying Steven Spielberg is, other than Jaws, is I forget the expression, he used it about Robert Altman, but he thought like Close Encounters was a boring movie, and Wandering in the Swamps, whatever that means.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, he wasn't a fan of Lucas. He loved what he did in American Graffiti, but everything else, he didn't. He thought Star Wars was not that good, and
yeah,
it was like, man, it was interesting to hear. He's very strong opinions about.
He has a lot of opinions
movies.
about a lot of things. I mean, even about the Halloween franchise, he has very strong opinions about, and it's.
He loves a paycheck, though. I love that interview.
Exactly. Carpenter's a weird dude. He it's hard to figure him out, and the way he chooses to do his movies is just so unique. I can't describe. He's just such a unique filmmaker. Because one second you get Halloween, then you get Big Trouble in Little China and Escape from the so just radically he doesn't have than being able to create atmosphere and an incredible soundtrack. You really don't know what he's going to do.
Right, exactly. And I like how the movie isn't predictable.
Yeah,
and thank God for home video. He even said it's like people really don't like my movies as much until they reach home video for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, Halloween did decent enough at the box office, but people just loved it when it was presented the way it was on home video. It just seemed to do better on home video.
Yeah, he's
all of his movies.
I would say he's more of like a cult director. Like I said, he's absolutely right. His stuff doesn't really resonate in the theater, but people will check it out on home video, and it builds a following, and it builds a reputation.
And I mean, Prince of Darkness,
perfect example of that.
Yeah, Prince of Darkness. I have the Scream Factory 4K, which was six years old. I found it at a yard sale, for crying out loud.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, this one's had been on Blu-ray for over a decade, and again, I didn't discover it until like 5 or 6 years ago, just randomly coming across the 4K. I found that, and They Live. This woman, whatever reason, her husband wasn't in the picture anymore, and so like, how much money do you want for this? Just take it. I just want to get rid of it. I'm like, okay. I got 2 free 4Ks of a Carpenter double shot. Literally Prince of Darkness, and then a year later, They Live came out. So
another classic.
Yeah, I like They Live. It's just the ending kind of falls short. But
yeah,
again, I love Big Trouble in Little China the best when it comes to Carpenter. But none of his movies that I've seen are that bad. And I heard Ghosts of Mars is pretty bad, but I haven't seen that one. But,
right.
But, it's like Prince of Darkness, yes, has a cult following, even though it made 2 or 3 times its budget. It's just, it's movie that people don't talk about that much. It just, and I know it's not 100% successful, but it does have, the atmosphere, Donald Pleasance,
Victor Wong.
Victor Wong is so much fun.
And that's another thing about Alice Cooper. John Carpenter. He gets these amazing casts.
Yeah,
and it's like, how did you get these guys for this movie?
I know when we were talking about The Thing and Blade Runner, they're both released the same day, the same year.
Right. You
hear all the problems people had with Ridley Scott, and people didn't complain about John Carpenter at all. He was fun to work with. People enjoyed him, and you worked hard, but
right.
No one complained about him on the set at all. Oh, he's people complain about Ridley Scott to this day.
Right.
Being very problematic, very, very difficult to work with. Whereas you never heard about that with John Carpenter.
Yeah.
At least I haven't heard about it from anyone who's worked with him.
No, and everyone who I've heard worked with John, they absolutely love him. But again, I just go to like, you look at his movies and you just see the cast that he gets, and it's like, how did he do this, and how was it not bigger? Mm-hmm. I mean, like, look at Village of the Damned in '95.
See, I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one.
But
either.
Look at I'll just read the cast off you: Christopher Reeve, Linda Kalsmanski, Christy Alley, Mark Hamill, Meredith Salinger. Like, where does this cast come from, and why is it not a massive hit? It's like.
Well, it's a hard one because, I mean, the Village of the Damned, the original one was. Yeah.
But the movie is very, very good.
I haven't seen it, so I can't attest to it. But it just seemed like his stuff in the '90s, like Memoirs of an Invisible Man. Oh,
yeah, no, he's definitely had like hit and miss. Swings and misses for sure. He's still just like, I don't get it. Like his cast for The Fog was huge. I mean, Adrienne Barbeau, Tom Atkins. Well,
he was actually married to Adrienne Barbeau for a while.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. Like they're just like out of these awesome casts.
Well, let's not forget about Dennis Dunn. How could we forget about Dennis Dunn?
Exactly.
Who was also in Big Trouble in Little China.
Sure.
He was also in The Last Emperor with Victor Wong.
Yeah.
He wrote the parts specifically for Pleasance, Wong, and Dunn because he enjoyed collaborating with them.
Right.
So, and it's interesting. He literally said Prince of Darkness was his most controlled films visually. He goes, every shot I can see, every shot is basically set to a purpose, where in some films I will let things go. I will let it be more loose. I'll let actors improvise. Every shot in here is specifically designed to communicate something. Yeah, he also said the budget. He had to,
right.
He had to be more precise because of the budget, and it took him 30 days to shoot, which isn't too long. His movies didn't take that long to shoot. I think he said The Thing was his longest shoot.
Really?
It was like a few months.
Huh.
Where Kubrick, it took like decades sometimes for a movie to get off the ground.
Yeah, I mean, like a month to shoot this movie. I mean, that's impressive. That's old school.
And I like how he credited himself as a screenwriter. Martin Quatermass. I don't know if you ever saw there was a cult movie or TV series, The Quatermass Experiment.
Yeah.
It was a movie, and then it led to a TV series. I never saw the movie. I heard the name, but I always thought that was interesting how he didn't use his own name as a screenwriter.
A lot of people use surnames and stuff like that for.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he had no problem written and directed by John Carpenter in some of his movies, but this one he chose a pseudonym, which is interesting.
Weird, yeah.
Like I know, I think they credit someone else directing Dune because, like, David Lynch is like, I did not direct this.
Yeah.
They come up with a different pseudonym for that. Obviously, we know it's a David Lynch movie.
Right.
But interesting to see David Lynch direct some of the John Carpenter movies.
Sure.
A lot of stuff going on in this film. Again, it's not 100% successful. I know it came out with the year you were born, and
yeah,
it's definitely an underrated John Carpenter movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's an underrated film in general because no one talks about it. I'm glad we were able to spotlight it a little bit and get into the meat of the movie a little bit. It's again, there's a lot of philosophical stuff with quantum physics and religion, and it's again not 100% successful, but it is a lot of fun to watch once in a while.
Sure.
But I gave it 3.5 stars. It's not bad.
Yeah, I give it about the same. It's something that it's worth a rewatch.
Again, Scream Factory did an awesome 4K restoration of it. It's massively available. It's not hard to find, which is I love physical media. I mean, even though people say it's dying, you can still find a lot of this stuff on home video, which is great.
Sure.
So what do you think of Prince of Darkness? Was it your least favorite John Carpenter film, or was it your favorite? Do you disagree with it being not 100% successful, like I said, or like Adam says? Well, just comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to Scared for Reals on YouTube. So when you log in, open up your app, you never miss an episode. You can also reach out to us through Facebook, Instagram, and X. Our handle is at Scared for Reals.
We'll see you next time on Scared for Reals.